welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, joined today with hubby.
Hubcap.
And we're doing a special live to get some more live critiques done since we won't be live next Tuesday. And if you're new here, thanks for showing up. We're not normally on this time, so it feels a little strange.
This is weird.
It is a little weird, but hopefully we can help as many people as possible. Okay, so I want to preface this with these are my opinions. If you are happy with your art, then go for it. There we go. Hopefully that's a little better. And these are just my opinions, how I would do it. Each pyrographer does theirs their own way, and this is how I would do mine. So we're going to start off today with Lisa. She is a new pyrographer, and she's here. Hi, Lisa. He is the Steve Madden, and Jenny's here, and Gregg's here, and
Sharon H.
Hi, Sharon. And I forgot another clip so that I could keep this on the board.
Robin.
Hi, Robin. Where did I do with all my clips? Oh, well.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a small clip to clip to this board so I can move it around. But here I thought it was completely ready. Okay, so Lisa is new. She's only been burning for 5 weeks. I believe she said this is her first piece and she wanted to learn more about shading. So first off, welcome to Pyrography. I'm glad you picked this as a hobby all for yourself. I think you've done a wonderful job, especially for your first burning.
I really like the concept.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. First, I would say, looking at the wood, I'm not sure what kind of wood you're using for this one. I highly recommend sanding it. Hi, Tony. That way it burns smoother, though looking at the burn lines, it actually looks like he may have sanded, and it could just be the grain of the wood that we're seeing in the photo. Okay, so for shading, because you do have the razor tip, I would recommend their spoon shader. That way it's a little easier for you to control. It looks like you've got, I'm guessing here, based on the lines, I'm thinking it's a chisel type.
Lisa says it's pine.
Oh, it's pine. Okay, that explains it. I personally do not like burning on pine. I recommend birch or basswood. I'm sure you found as you were burning where the dark grain is, it was harder to burn, and where the lighter grain is, the tip kind of sunk into it, and it was just harder to get things even, so you had to go a higher setting in order to do that. So I highly recommend birch or basswood. Some people use maple and also poplar. I do have links down in the description, down here at the bottom. That is to my kit page and my Amazon affiliates page that has everything that I recommend, including the wood. So we'll get started.
Lisa says, I think in regards to pine, it's horrible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is horrible. It stinks. I don't like it. Hey, Burrow. But I started on it too. Well, my very first burning was basswood, but after that, I got like this long board, 12 by 6 foot board of ponderosa pine, and did many burnings on that, and it's a fight to do. And part of, with burning, especially for those who want to stick with it, you want to go with the easiest things possible so that you're less frustrated. Okay, so on the shading, with your razor tip, how many tips do you have? This is their spoon shader. I personally don't like it, but that's a burner I believe you said you had. You can use the Optima with the razor tip. Just saying. So on shading, we've got, let's see here, our horizons up here, but we also have a second horizon line. Things here would be more detailed. Things in the background would be more blurred out and kind of fuzzy so that it pops your subject, woo, brain fart, subject out. Transferring will definitely help. It's hard to fix a burning. Doable, but hard if your lines are a little off. So if you can start off with some really good lines, that will definitely make things go a lot smoother for you. Let's see here. Now, being new, let me see here. I'm not sure. Is this the back of the elephant? Looks like we got a little space right here that I would kind of shade in. And if you haven't sealed this, if you want to go back and just play with it, I would. So we would darken this, because I think we've got another elephant in the back here, based on what I'm seeing. I could be wrong on that. Let's see here.
Lisa says she only has 3 tips.
3 tips?
Pins. Pins or tips, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, hopefully you've got a shader of some kind. And I would recommend that. With pine, you're going to be fighting. So, just know.
Tony Fleming's here too.
Hi, Tony.
Been here for a minute, but I was waiting for a break.
Gotcha. So, having different darks will definitely help your lights pop out where you want a lighter area. So, let's see here. We don't have, because I don't have the reference photo, I'm not sure what the light source direction is. I'm going to guess the light source direction is coming from the top right, based on how you've got some of your lines. You've done an awesome job, so please don't be hard on yourself. Not at all. It's a lot of this would be much darker. So that
Lisa said it's 3. That she just darkened the area in the back. She said she messed up.
it's okay. We all do it. I'm gonna guess that there's a belly line about here. Maybe. Actually, it comes down this way. This way. That's my guess. So in shading, that's how we really get our forms to look like we want. Now, I recommend if you're going for realism, not to outline, because that will give you a less realistic feel to it, if that's what you're going for. If you're not going for that, and you're going for an actual more of a cartoony comic book style or pop art, outlines are your friends.
Lisa's confirming that light is top right. You are correct.
Okay. See, it always helps when the person's in, because then I can ask questions and figure things out. So on the background, make sure I'm still on camera, I would really just kind of blend these out. Those are in deep, so you'll still have the feeling of grass. This way, your elephants stand out more. That.
You know, it didn't occur to me because you were walking to the house telling me, saying, I got my pencils.
These are the pencils I was talking about.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is she talking about? Why? We're doing a burning stream. Why are you?
My colored pencils, because people were telling me that they like it better because it's closer to the tone of the burning.
Ah.
So it's easier for them to visualize. All right. So even with the trees, I would just kind of maybe fill them in a little bit more. That way they're not taking away from your awesome elephants. And for lettering, there's a couple of tips. I know Razor Tip has them also. In the Optima, they are the 9MS, which that's not it. I just realized you might have it. No, that's not it. I took pictures yesterday for a big video. Excuse me. Alright, here we go. The 9MS and the ball tips do help with your lettering, but it's hard to do it on pine. And in fact, looking at the lettering, that's where I can definitely tell it's pine, because it's a pain in the butt. And it's never smooth. So I think a shader, and if you want to do more lettering with your work, I would look at getting a writer or a ball tip. Alright, so looking at the camera, I'm trying to see how taking photos of your work and looking at them on your phone gives you a different perspective. That way you can tell what needs to change. So let's see here, that's a back leg. That's an elephant back here. So since you have this dark right here, especially for this back leg, I would add more of this dark following the direction of how the skin lays on the elephant. And that'll make it feel more round. Let's see here. So you're doing those kind of strokes. See, even with the strokes you're doing, you can actually use that to your advantage. With the tip you have, you can keep this rough. And it will have a sketchy feel to it. And those are really cool too. So just following the direction of your object. Let's see here. If we're going to do sketchy lines, like this, but following, so the belly is rounded, so we'd follow that. Let's see here, his ears or her ears, it could be mom. Just follow that direction, and you'll have more of a pen and ink feel to it. Which I really like those too. So let's follow. So you started in a good direction here. I would just continue it. You can go out lighter, lower temperature. And in our darker areas, get a little darker. Yeah, I think that's more of a wrinkle there. They're very wrinkly. See, this leg, it is a little off. Let's see here. How could we fix it? How could we fix it?
Well, it depends on her intention too.
Yeah. Let's see here. That's it. Well, I think he was going for the leg bending. So, follow this way.
Is there maybe something in front of that elephant's leg, or?
No. There's grass behind it. I guess we can fix it. Let's see here. The light would hit here. So you could actually go really dark right here.
Lisa says she's going to try and make it bend up.
Bend up, okay. Let's see here. So this would be fully dark down here. Because it's...
And it's supposed to be in water.
And it's supposed to be in water. Actually, your strokes for the water aren't bad at all. Maybe a few more
Or stepping in the water.
Yeah, stepping in the water. A little bit, I think, more horizontal lines. Yep, that was not horizontal. You can even go darker in the back. Okay, see that's like waves. I'm just trying to go from what you have. That way it's easier to see if that's what you want. I'll bump it down a little bit. Way. There we go. Alrighty. But yeah, this... If you go darker, it'll make these guys stand out more. Let's see here. I'm going to really dig in with the colored pencil so we can see that. Let's see here. And I think you could go darker, closer to the horizon line. That's down here at the bottom. And you just kind of fade it up and blur it out. You'd have more detail here in the front than you would in the back. So let's see if we can get that. There. It goes up there. This will be darker. Let me just take it out. There we go.
Lisa's asking what tip is best for shading with razor tip.
See, I don't have most of my tips anymore.
Well,
the spoon shader.
Yeah.
Or they've got a spade shader that they also have labeled as a transfer tip. That does a decent job and is more polished for shading.
Maybe it would be good to know which three that Lisa has.
Yeah, it would help.
And then be able to tell like what's the best out of the three that you've got there to do shading.
Let's see. And I changed the trees. Some of them could be a little more filled out. Since you already put the time in, let's see if we can keep them.
Yeah, I've never really talked about this, but it's a technique that I've used to improve my trees, and it's gonna sound silly.
Go for it.
Well, Bob Ross has, hundreds of videos that he made, and it's on YouTube, and it's also on Netflix. But if you, whatever medium that you're in, if you look at how he does trees, it can be really, really helpful. And you're not going to be able to do it the same way as he is able to.
No, that's why I was going back and forth instead of...
Yeah. But I would say as a practice drill, like if you were to take a ballpoint pen and just experiment with like how he does trees, you might find some interesting techniques that would transfer over to burning.
Let's see. Let's see. I got some white space down here, so if I was doing a pine tree, let's see here.
Okay, Lisa says, I have a tiny ball tip,
Okay.
a chisel, and one that looks like a V tip. Haven't learned names yet.
That is a, like she says, V-tip, I'm guessing, are we talking this tip? This is an Optima, not a razor tip, but...
That's going to be your best bet for shading,
It
isn't
is, it's a shader.
Ah.
It is a shader.
Ha! I know something.
You do. Okay, so on our trees, if I was burning them, let's start off light.
Beryl says happy trees.
Gonna try.
Yeah. It also helps too, like, one of the pitfalls that I've had is that I'm used to drawing like spruce trees, because that's the kind of trees that I had where I grew up, spruce and birch and cottonwood, and this is definitely a different profile than, you know, than the pine trees that we have here.
Yeah.
So,
or they're closer in shape to the redwoods.
Yeah, so it's really good to like observe different kinds of trees and
just sketch them out.
Yeah, and try not to get stuck in a rut, because I did definitely. Like, I can bang out a spruce tree, like, you know, super easy, but it's hard for me to get away from that sometimes because it's so ingrained. Ingrained.
And limbs are not even.
No.
And depending on your tree, they may go up, hang down, go straight out.
Burrow comes, there's hope for you yet, Jason.
And what would be closer in your view? And of course, it depends on your light source, which direction it's coming from. But I would start off a burning light and go back and forth in this manner. And that's for a close-up tree. If it's farther away, oops, I went too far there. I wouldn't even go through that much. It'd be more blended out and fuzzy. If it's closer up, I'd put more detail.
Lisa says, I get discouraged because I struggle drawing anything. I added the trees because it looked empty to me.
No, I think the trees were definitely a good choice, because you're right, you would have had a bit of empty space up here, especially with your hills in the background. And you've got a lot of motion to your strokes. It's really cool looking at it. There's movement to them, and your eye follows this line into your elephants, follows this line into your elephants. We get waves, so you come back into the elephants that way. You're doing a really good job. I do recommend, if you're wanting to have a more accurate drawing, there is nothing wrong with graphite paper and a photograph. More so a photograph you took to get your accurate lines. There is nothing wrong with that. Nobody says you have to freehand anything or whatnot. Most of the time, if I am changing a photo, I tend to use Photoshop and change the elements, the way I want them and whatnot, and that helps me. But you could even print out all your different elements, put your subject down, and get tracing paper and trace over the different areas that you like and place it, move it around to make a composition that you're wanting to burn. You have started off really good, Lisa. I'm not kidding. Not blowing smoke. You've got some beautiful lines. And I think you can keep going with this with the type of lines you've already been using, and just kind of shading areas in to bring, to give it the depth you're looking for, and just bring things together.
I would also say don't get discouraged.
No.
Because, you know, drawing is hard. It's always hard. It doesn't matter where you're at, you know. But I would say too that artistically speaking, that like your composition here and how you've, you know, presented these elephants it really has a nice feeling to it. It has a nice sense of motion and a nice sense of emotion to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really important. And that's as important as anything else, because some people who are fantastic, you know, like they have technical skill, but their, you know, art is mechanical, and it's not pleasing to look at because of that.
It feels like should be something more to it,
right,
when it's so technical.
But you have you don't have that issue, and that's really, really important. So I think this is really, really nice. I really like it, actually.
I do too, and I love the sketchiness. I would continue with it. Blur out some of the sketchiness, that way it's not taking away from the elephants. But other than that, it just needs a little bit more contrast to it and shading.
So is this like the first thing that she's
This
done?
is her first burning, I believe.
Yeah, you don't get discouraged.
No,
this is
not at all.
like a really awesome start.
It is. So, Lisa, if you have any, did I hit on everything for you? Please don't get discouraged.
Yeah, Kenny Dion, it's good perspective too. Yes, that is absolutely correct.
Hi, Kenny. You are awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. And it's probably weird, but I want to make sure you know I'm talking to you. All right.
Me out there.
Hey, we're on at a different time. Give me a break. Alrighties. All right, we are moving on to Whirl. This is something new. I have Whirl's piece.
Oh, okay.
This is her piece, unless Lisa has any more questions. Let's see, make sure I can get it on screen. There we go. This clip is gonna bug me. You know what? I'm gonna have to tape down. Tape down.
Well, she says thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing. I'm so glad you have started burning.
Yep. Don't get discouraged.
No, even if you do it's one thing to get discouraged, but don't give up. I mean, I get discouraged even now. It's keeping going.
I get discouraged all the time.
There you go. All right, there.
I get discouraged at the drop of a hat. And I drop a lot of hats.
Oh, alrighty. We got Whirl's Jet. Whirl. We've done a couple of Whirl's pieces.
Okay.
He was the cat.
Not Beryl.
Whirl.
Okay.
Whirl. Alrighty. So this is going to be a new one for me. Whirl wanted to know about the clouds and getting those fluffy. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pull up the post. That way I can address the right stuff. Alright, so it helps if I can find my own post in my own group. I should have had this up. Should have had it up.
Well, all your credibility's gone. Time to shut down the stream.
It's out the window. Alrighty. So.
Yes, I do. I get discouraged when I drop the hats.
Yep. He feels that they look like mountains, and he's having trouble with them. He wants to also know if he should add more shading to the aircraft. He's still using a cheap burner, waiting for her Optima.
She's using a cheap burner?
Yep. She's doing an awesome job. Alrighty, for the clouds. Let's see here. I'm looking at the reference. I think I would use, make sure I'm lined up right. Engine. Alright, here we go. I would blend out, I would blend out and go in little circles.
Coyote Patel is here. Coyote?
Hi, Coyote. Hopefully we said that right.
Coyote. I feel like we've had this conversation before on stream, so I apologize.
I think so. So on the clouds, even though they're white, looking at the reference photo, we do have some good darks in here. And those darks are what make these highlights stand out even more. So we got to make sure to get those in order for everything to look like a cloud. So I would blend. And with clouds, I would not stress too much about being exact with the picture, because clouds are constantly moving, constantly changing. As long as you've got your lights and darks in the right spot, you'll get that fluffiness feeling. So in darkening, and I would little circles, kind of like I'm doing with the colored pencil. We'll blend this out smoother, even with your heat burner, which you can't remember which ones she's got.
April Gabriel is here, and
hi, April.
She just finished baking chocolate chip cookies.
Yay, chocolate chip cookies.
Beryl is decorating gingerbread men.
She was doing that with her grandson yesterday.
She didn't say cookies, though, so I don't know.
No, apparently she's been eating a lot of raw cookie dough, though.
Oh.
So I would
Nothing
just
wrong with that.
Put in the mid-tone first, kind of the lighter mid-tone, and try to get it as smooth as you can. The circles also lend to the texture of the clouds. So the more you can do this, and since you've got a highlight there, let's keep it. It looks good. Your plane is looking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
So I would go and smooth in all of the mid-tone, and then I would go back for some of the darker areas, turn up the heat a little bit, and darken some of those areas up. And just kind of move around, kind of scrumble, which is a painting term, scribble in small circles where the darker areas are. And the more you do this, the more the whites start popping out.
She's not in chat right now, is she?
No, she's not. I can't remember where she's at. Normally our lives are at 11 on Tuesdays, and it's like midnight for her when the lives are going on. She's overseas.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. Sorry, Whirl. Okay. And I don't know if you're planning on burning the background. I don't know that I would. Let me think on that. Because that would definitely make the white of your plane stand out more, make your clouds. You know what? It might actually, as long as it would take, I think it would be an advantage to burn in the sky.
Wait, I'm confused. Is this isn't Cat? Oh, okay. So she is in chat.
Oh.
It's Kyati Patel.
Oh.
And she says, that's me, Whirlwind.
Yes. I get so used to usernames and...
Ah, okay.
Well, look at that. Okay, that'll make it easier. So, are you looking at burning in the background? And I'm just going to do a small area so we can see how that changes the clouds.
She says that she's trying to go with negative burning around the plane. That's like a really tough thing, though. Like, I'm just going to add my 2 cents
Go
here.
for it.
All right.
I'm thinking while you're talking.
Because, like, the thing that you mentioned is that the clouds look like mountains, and you're always going to get a little bit of grain, you know, off of the paper or whatever it is that you're burning
wood.
on. Oh, it is wood. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get some grain, and that's going to affect the fluffiness of the clouds.
Yeah, that's true.
But as long as the clouds are darker than the sky, people are in people's brains. It's going to read land, and that's not something that you're going to easily get away from. So I think that if there is a way to darken the background, so that it in effect makes the clouds lighter, I think that's a
and that's why
easier battle, you know.
Yeah.
But from the standpoint of like, because I used to be in aviation, and from a standpoint of an aviation perspective, this is going to sound kind of ambivalent, but the most people who are going to be attracted to this particular piece of art are going to be looking hard at the aircraft.
Yeah.
And whether it's clouds or mountains, it's going to be irrelevant to them. As long as there's a lovely quality to it,
yep,
it's not going to matter. They're going to be looking hard at the details, though, on the aircraft. You know, and you always have to, like, figure out who your worst critics are going to be, and those are going to be the
it's going to be your pilots.
It's going to be the pilots and the you know, crew and the aircraft manufacturers and stuff, and they're going to be doing stuff like counting freaking windows and checking the ellipses on the turbines, and you know, looking at the different aspects of it, and so those are things that are really hard when you're doing like aviation or like automotive stuff, because you've always got somebody, whether they're a you know, aviator, or if it's a car, they're a gearhead, you know, they're looking hard at the what the subject is.
I really like your shading under the wing. I like how that feels.
Yeah, that's it feels reflective, and it feels like it's reflected. It feels like that there's some depth in that shadow, like it should be. So that's a really nice quality to it.
It is. I like it. Alright, I'm just doing the top so we can see what that does.
So this is a gift for a friend who is also a pilot.
Oh, he's going to be looking at, he or she's going to be looking very closely.
So,
especially if this is their plane.
Yeah, I was going to be my next question, if this is their plane.
Yeah, if this is their plane, they are going to be, though they're still going to love it. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to like freak you out and oh my God. They're still going to love it, but they are going to be looking at the detail. Again, I really like the shading right here. I like, it feels almost like the old like World War II era photos, or not photos, but artwork.
Yeah, like pen and inks.
Yep, I like that.
And I would tell you, like, where it's at right now, like, if you wanted to mess with the clouds a little bit, this is just all my opinion. You're the pro here.
You're supposed to be giving your opinion too.
But if it was my piece of art, considering all the detail that you've put into it, I would be very hesitant to do much more to it. Because I know,
the plane?
Yeah, because I know how exacting that is, and that such a small thing can
have a
large effect.
More that I would darken under the nose, and let's see here, mainly under the nose and lettering of Airbus. And I've always been big into jets, but planes are sexy.
But if the helicopters are better.
No.
Yeah, they are.
Jets are better.
Whatever.
Focus.
You focus.
You could almost take some sandpaper and kind of fade the clouds out. Sand it back a little bit.
Yeah. With
fine sandpaper and kind of with at least 300 to 400, and kind of fade it out. I don't know that you'd actually have to
see it, but there's
fade here.
I know that you're looking to see if what it would look like if it was around the plane, shaded around the plane.
I'm not gonna go the full.
But I think that there's a really nice quality to it because there's some implied lines. The shadows and the shapes are describing the shape of the fuselage and the wings and things like that. And so there's some parts where there's not a whole lot of contrast in between the sky and the actual aircraft, but there's implied lines there because you're connecting the dots, and that is really lovely. Like, I don't know if I would change that. That's really cool aspect of the art.
I just think maybe.
Yeah, I don't even think this is my opinion, and then I'll stop.
No, they know they're getting your opinion too.
My opinion would be like Valarie said, maybe sand back the clouds a little bit to make them less prominent, so that you're not thinking about focusing on them, and like do very little, if anything, with the actual aircraft.
Just a little bit of light shading.
And then plus keep in mind too that when you seal this,
you're gonna lose.
You're gonna
lighten.
Yeah, it's gonna get a little bit darker.
But the burn itself on the lights are gonna get lighter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, here's seal.
Whirlwind says jets are best. They're not. Helicopters.
Okay, just because you flew helicopters doesn't mean they're better.
Yeah, it does.
No, I don't.
They're awesome.
For you.
You take your airplane and
what?
Take off straight up.
No. So
you can't.
Yes, a little bit of darkening here and there. I think is all. Just a little bit, actually. Not too much. Just maybe. I know this line's off that I've got down. Just a little bit more. And I think I would. I think I'd sand back and kind of smooth out and give a hint of cloud. And I'm trying to think if I would even fully burn the background or if I would do more of a vignette. Let's see here. I know my lines are going to be off. But if you did more of a vignette of the sky and just kind of fade it out, then your whole focus would be on your beautiful Airbus. So if we just faded out some sky, I wouldn't put sky everywhere. Because I gotta remember to look up at the comments. Just kind of fade it out a little bit. And as looking at your reference, for sky, it's always darker on the top and lighter at the bottom, or at what would be our perceived horizon line, which would be right here by the clouds. But I think, make sure I get the shape right. I would just kind of fade it out. You got some beautiful darks in the tail. The only real lines that's kind of standing out to my eye is a little bit off is this door. And even that, looking at your reference photo, the white around the door is not as bright white as the rest of the body. That's a lighter creamy white. So I would darken up so those lines don't stand out and take your eye away. Because your eye kind of stops here when you want the eye to flow. Let's see here. We would flow in on the nose, hit the tail wing, come back down, and your eye stops there. And I think that's kind of taking away from all the beautiful other burning you've done. So I would try to straighten that line. I know it's going to be hard, especially since it's a smaller door. You got close, but it does feel a little off. So I think if you can bring it in and tighten up just your white there and kind of lighten it a little, or darken it a little bit. There we go. It's still there. It still reads as lighter, but now it doesn't stand out as much to your eyes. Let's see here. We yourself. Oh, you fly the jet. Whirl flies. I wanted to. In middle school and high school, I was looking at Air Force and fighter jets, and then I started having issues with my eyes. Alright, so.
What are you guys talking about?
You?
Yeah.
Because we always talk about you.
Every time I leave, I know what happens. You guys just pile on. You're like, oh, good, he's gone. I hate that guy. That cat
They
sucks.
don't hate
Ew.
you. They don't hate you. They love you. Alright. I was just telling her that I would fade out as much as I could on the clouds and kind of do a vignette of the sky.
Oh, okay. She flies the jet?
It sounds like it. Don't attack her plane.
I'm not going to attack your plane. Alright? I'm not attacking your
I
plane.
know.
I'm just saying that rotary wing is better.
No. See, by putting in the lighter sky, even get some vignette. See, but with the clouds, you're going to have to kind of fade them out more. I think over here to balance it out a little bit more. See, that's going to be really hard to sand out because these are darker. What to do? Let's see here. Because even in your photograph, right here, the clouds kind of just blend away. Right here as well. Think. I'm thinking. I gotta move the pencil while I'm thinking.
I'm drinking coffee. I am a robot.
Maybe not.
I maybe have drank too much coffee.
I think so. I haven't even gotten my second cup yet. Alright. So, because I was talking about, I guess actually, because of, well, no, your eyes come in at the windshields, go down to the engines, up the tail, back down. I was telling her that this needed to be a little darker on the white, even though it is white. So the eye doesn't stop there. Let's see here. Oh, I guess that was a little off.
Put my Santa hat back on.
Put your Santa hat back on.
My ears are getting cold.
Really? I'm hot.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Alright. And maybe straighten out
Oh,
the line up onto.
Whirlwind needs to go away for a few minutes. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay. I think I'm finishing up. Let's see here. That needs to be darker. Yeah, that needs to be a little darker. There we go. I used to sit in the garage as a kid and draw airplanes. Designed my own too.
Made paper airplanes.
I actually made paper airplanes out of my drawings.
Oh.
Because, well, it's me.
Then I made airplanes out of my Legos.
That I didn't
Until I got a helicopter kit.
To get a helicopter kit?
And then, because I had to have the rotor part on top. Once I got the helicopter kit, then I really didn't make planes anymore.
Well, you can have your helicopters. I never really cared for them.
You've never flown in one.
No, I have not flown in one.
You might change your mind.
I just don't think they're as sexy. Sorry.
Well,
You're sexier than the helicopter. I shut you down.
Thank you.
I shut you down.
I would like for you to ride in a helicopter someday.
Oh, that's fine.
I think that you'd really like it.
I'd like it just because we're flying.
Oh, I know that.
Alright, so...
But it's different than the kind of flying that you've done.
I think this ellipse is a little off. Yeah, a little darker here. Yeah, I think it just needs a little bit more shading. And it's...
Not a lot.
No, not a lot. This is what I'm doing is just kind of tweaking. And that's just my eyes, what I'm seeing. So, however you choose, this door feels off. And this door feels a little off. Because it should go up. And it could be because it's a work in progress and it's still light and she hasn't shaded here. as much. And I think that's why Airbus was lighter. That may be why.
Magic buzz.
Looks like it goes all the way up.
Magic buzz.
Magic buzz. Alright. With the sky and negative burned in, definitely helps it stand out better. And even though I didn't do it, if burning wise, I would try to keep it as horizontal as you can. That way it doesn't look like that. And what I did with the color pencil will make it throw your eye off.
Yeah.
So it needs to be smooth. I'm just trying to quickly...
And I think if you can't accomplish that, I wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, if you don't feel comfortable, yeah, I think you're right. But then we go back to the clouds. Yeah, all of this needs to be smooth because it's metal smooth shading. Just, I'm not blending the colored pencil, so it's not smooth. Just a little bit, because we are going to have, even with it white, we are going to have shading on the body. Alright, yeah. Needs to be it's a little darker. Probably can switch colors so things don't blend into each other like that. Well, that's how it would be in burning, but
I don't know what she's talking about.
who knows? She's been like that for the last couple of days. Who knows? Alrighty. So yeah, if you want to keep the clouds, then I would do more circles and just blending it out and not getting so detailed on your strokes. Just kind of, and get some more darks in here. The only thing with it is because it's a plane that has specific dark paint and whatnot on it, is we've got some dark here, here, here. It kind of feels a little unbalanced, but that's not your fault. That's just how things are in the photo.
It doesn't look very plain to me.
Okay, that was good. I'll give you that one.
Whirlwind's back.
Get back. All I was saying was, if you choose to keep the clouds, I would blend them out more. Just get them as smooth as you could in the shading. And doing ovals will give you the texture so that it doesn't feel off. You don't have to get so... you don't have to be very detailed on the clouds.
Kenny's asking if what instead of the negative burning, what if it was outlined with a white pencil? I would say in this case, it could be good, but it could be disastrous, because if the white is not close enough to the white of the lightest part of the wood, then it's going to look outlined.
Yeah, it would. Let's see here. I'm like, it's not showing up. I hate that.
Hey, look over here.
What am I looking over at? Burrow sending photos of her gingerbread man. Alright, so this is where our high highlights are, the white. So I guess to see what Kenny...
See with it, but I don't know. I would be very cautious.
Yeah.
I would exercise caution. I would advise caution on all this. Caution.
Caution.
Yep.
Danger.
Roman knows what I'm talking about. Caution light.
Alright. Yeah, there's only a few places in the actual reference where you've got bright. I don't know that. Don't like pastels on my fingers. Let's see here. Yeah. So I would. Okay, so we can do this with the clouds. I think maybe the white would do better with the clouds.
Yeah.
Than the plain. Something
that is always hard, and I have a hard time with this too, is that anytime that you have rounded figures in ellipses, like ellipses can make or break your composition, and if an ellipse looks off, people will catch it. And I have an instructor that's
a friend now.
Well, yeah, she's a friend now, and initially, like, I was really, really upset because she always used to like criticize my ellipses, and but she's right. Like, you really have to watch any kind of curved surface and ellipses to make sure that they're accurate. Otherwise, it throws off everything.
I need to sharpen my pencil. That's not looking right. Yeah. I'm just trying to shape them a little bit more.
That's a beautiful airplane, though.
It is. You've done a beautiful job.
Yeah.
I haven't burned one yet.
Your friend is going to be very, very, very pleased.
I think so too.
I think so too.
You just answer your own statement.
Did I? Maybe.
You did.
It's no helicopter, but it is a very beautiful airplane.
There.
Piece of art.
It is. I can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to see it finished. So I would just darken up the belly a bit. Straighten out this door. And I don't think... when I said I know you had walked away, I don't think you're finished with that part. But straightening out the door. And just making sure the lines are good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That one's on. The ellipses feel a little off, but I can't pinpoint exactly why.
So Gregg is an instructor for the RC Flying Club.
Ah! Can you fly to Arizona and teach me? We have an airport small airport in our town.
For RC flying?
Oh, no, that's the little...
Yes.
Oh, I didn't miss the RC part.
What was that for?
I don't know, because my hand stretched out. All right. You would be able to... Do we have any more questions on this one so we can move on to Jeni's? Eczema hurts today.
Sorry.
I think you've done a beautiful job, World. Beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yes. I don't know. Blur this area out and maybe vignette the sky, and it really stands out.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next.
No.
I'm gonna have to tape this down too. We are doing cats. We're missing Eve.
Whoa. We went from airplanes to cats.
We're gone to from airplanes to cats. Alright, so Jeni was doing a beautiful job. He's actually having to get a new Optima. I guess there were some issues, but Pat's making it right. Let's see, make sure I'm on screen. There we go. Alright. Tape it down. Jeni was wanting to know about the concrete that the cats are laying on. They're beautiful cats. Honestly, what I would do with the concrete is make it go away. You've already got great detail in it. I would just burn it smooth.
What?
Burn it smooth. This is concrete.
What do you mean burn it smooth? I don't understand.
Meaning, just I wouldn't put in any more detail. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I would just...
I was like...
darken it and kind of blend it out. You've already got some really cool darks in here, so it's going to break up and not look solid. But I think this part kind of takes away from your cats. And since they're your main focus...
Okay, I'm going to go see what the seal is.
Can I have some more coffee, please?
No.
Please? I would just do a passive medium heat, tonal value. I got tape down below this. And going over the lighter parts as well. And of course, smoothly. This is not smooth. It's picking up the grain of my wood underneath. But you'll still have your texture in here. But this way your cats really pop out more. And I think that's what you're really looking for. And I know it's lighter in the photograph, but because of the burning, they come out a little darker. And I think you asked about the background as well. And I would actually only do a vignette on the background. Just a bit of burning back here, I think. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm pulling it. Why? That's not what I wanted. Facebook's being a butthead. Or it could be because I hit the wrong thing. Let's see here. I'm trying to get back to my posts. It helps if I'm on the right group and page. I lost my stuff.
I don't know what they're doing.
Are they playing?
No, they're having some kind of dog drama.
Dog drama?
Yeah, Moon's standing. She's in the middle of the couch, standing on the couch, barking.
Because that's the hound dog. Alright, so...
Oh, okay. Whirlwind's gotta go.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad I was able to ask you questions. Okay, so trouble with the foreground, which I would just make that darker. I wouldn't burn it so that your detail that you've already put in goes away. Just, in general, darken it. Let's see here. Breaking the rock to show the curves. Okay. Yeah, it does kind of look like a chocolate chip cookie. He's leaning toward... If you wanted to know about the background, I think... Let's see here. A smooth, no texture. You would have to decide... Well, let's see here. If we're smoothing this out... Would I put a background? I kind of feel like we've got open space here. I think actually that might go darker. I think. Trying to do this quickly.
Just do a portion of it.
Yeah, just... I wouldn't do the whole background black. No. But this way you can shape the cats. And then I would blend it. I'd go dark here and then blend it out in a gradient. So it was smoother, or a smooth gradient. But I wouldn't go to the very top. And doing that, which my strokes are not going to be smooth. For this one, I definitely don't think any texture at all possible.
See, you and I have different design philosophies on this.
Why? Well,
because I would go dark from the very top and lighten it to the bottom, like you would see at the sky, and I'd put stars up there. But that's my normal.
Okay,
model.
Yeah, that's your. Let's see here, but we're looking at later. Tonal value is about the same across. I think. See here, but it goes to the edge. If we did this, we need some more over here, kind of fading out. almost kind of like a sunset or a sunrise. But in darks, maybe. Well, I don't know. I need to fill it in so I can see it. I might actually change my mind. He's leaning towards no background.
I think as long as that without outlining, if the lines are well defined, I don't think it might necessarily need a background. But you're right about the visual weight being heavy on the bottom.
Yeah.
Which again is why I would do it dark on the top and
so you would go dark up here? Yeah. But I was talking about fading out into nothing.
And I'm talking about dark at the top and fading down into light, because then that way, because you've already got a dark.
Okay, well let's take this corner and check. Maybe
because you've got a dark band at the bottom with the concrete.
So how far down would you go with your dark?
Probably just to the middle of the ear.
To the middle of the ear?
Yeah, like right about there. And then I would blend it to light.
And you blend it to light.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see which way would work better.
You speak my language.
You speak your language. Okay. Now, how far would you go completely across like this? Because
across
now,
the top? Yes.
So all the way across the top.
Yeah.
Now let's see what happens.
That's just my opinion.
I know. I want to see your opinion. Your opinion may work better. So that's why I'm trying it.
Because then you'd have visual weight at the top too to balance it.
And then you said fade down to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
About mid-ear. Am I still on camera? No.
What I'm watching is still on camera.
Because you're watching it in delay. It's about to go off camera.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the judge of that. It's my job.
Alright, so you said all the way across dark. I'm just going to do this.
I am in agreement with you, though. Like, I think any background needs to be simple because...
Yes.
Because anything that's complex or has a lot of shapes is going to take away from the complexity and beauty of the subjects.
So, what's that? Let's see here. So, you're going dark to light. I guess this side would be the best to look at, to see. Can I have that piece of paper over there, that white piece of paper?
Which, this one?
Yeah, it's just cardstock. I need to block off so I can see. Block it off! Block it off! Alright. So, you're saying light to, or dark to light.
That's how I would handle it.
That's how you would handle it. And I'm saying...
And you're saying light to dark.
Dark to light, this way.
Yes.
So light to dark, yes. Sometimes you have to go back and forth until you figure out what you like.
Either way, I think would be...
I think, though, in doing it your way, it still needs to be darker down at the bottom. Right here. Let's see here. How dark can I go?
And I'm also terribly lazy. And the dark at the top is the least amount of work.
And then I'll leave that for Jeni to decide.
That's one of my design philosophies, is do as little as possible.
Let's see here.
That way when stuff is hanging, I'm like, oh, it's so minimalistic. I'm like, yes. Yes, that is what I was going for. I didn't fall asleep in the middle of it.
Alright. So I would say, Jeni, it does need a little bit of background, but I think it would be an artistic choice on which way to do it.
Kenny says, I see the values of doing it both ways.
Well, I do too. So it's really, I think I would go either way, but see, to me, it would read more accurate if it goes dark to light out, because it brings the eye back more into here, whereas it's definitely a good question.
I think that The thing with Valarie is Valarie will always choose the right way, even if it's the hardest way, and sometimes I have to concede to that. But I think that either way that you do it is going to be acceptable. But I do think that, and again, this is just my opinion, having the band of dark at the top is going to help counterbalance the weight of the dark at the bottom. And actually, if you were to do stars, then you'd have the pattern of the stars to kind of echo the cement.
It would.
So that it just happens to be the easier way.
I definitely think it would be an artistic choice and neither way being wrong. I'll have to wait and see what Jeni thinks of which way she would go. Your cats are beautiful.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And I really like the quality of the fur. And the expression. Like, that's really, really well done.
This is still a work in progress, I know that. I'm just...
So, is this a Christmas gift, or...?
I think Jeni was trying out the Optimum. It had some issues, and like I said, Pat's fixing her issues.
Apparently, Pat, according to chat, hi, I'm Remy, has a carrot cake recipe.
Yes. You got a lot of recipes.
And apparently it's awesome.
Oh, I guess maybe they've tried it. Alright.
Yeah, Kenny says, ask Pat for his carrot cake recipe next time you talk to him. It's pretty great.
Okay. I don't bake a whole lot, but okay.
Oh, Katie, she left. I missed this comment.
Oh, what'd she say?
She got the last word.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
Jets are the best.
If
you're watching this, whatever.
No, it's just practice, and he's dark in the left line already. Okay. I was just waiting to see, I do think it needs a background, but how you do that background, I think, is completely up to you, and neither would be wrong. I mean, you could even go with the solid black background, and it would make the cat stand out, but again, you would really have to darken, especially down here. For the black background.
I think that whatever you decide to do, the background needs to be very minimal.
Yes, it needs to be
in detail.
Yeah, no detail at all, I think. Just smooth shading, however you choose to do it. Whether it's black or... Let's see here, cat's back here. Alright. Your cats are looking beautiful. I love them. Let's see here.
Yeah, mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got... Did I answer? I just want to make sure I got what Jeni needed.
I think so.
And then next we're going off to Burrow.
Burrow.
Is it Burrow?
Burrow
Yes,
of
Burrow.
the gingerbread army.
Burrow.
She's created her gingerbread man army.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
She has an army now?
All
right.
She hasn't said that. I just presume that.
I completely hit the camera. Whee!
Oh, wow, you did.
I did. Okay, let's see if I can get it back. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to clean my glasses. They made you dizzy. I'm sorry. There we go.
They won't know yet.
There it goes. Oops.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, some combination and just smooth. Beautiful cats. Beautiful, beautiful cats.
Yep.
Now we're off to Beryl and her key. Let's see here. Do I have enough? I might have to back the camera up to get in on the screen completely. I don't think I'm zoomed in, but I could be zoomed in. Alright. So, we got Burrow's Harry Potter door. From Chamber Secret? No.
So that's the first movie?
Yes. Chamber Secrets would be the first. Alright, let's see here.
I think you're zoomed all the way out, aren't you?
Yeah, I just have a little bit. Alright, I'm going to make you dizzy again. Sorry. Alright. A little bit, kind of.
Just watch these movies.
There we go. I know. We did. We watched all of them. Okay, so Burrow's winning. The key to stand out more, he spent all this time doing this beautiful stippling to get the rocks, but I do think the rocks need to be a little darker, and so does the door, to make the key stand out. I love her wings.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So, if we... But I do think you gotta keep the texture, because it's really cool.
Yeah.
So I would keep all that texture you worked on. But I do think in going darker, even on the mortar, since it doesn't have texture, it'll still stand out because it's lighter and it doesn't have the same texture, but I think all over burning would get us the darkness I think it needs. So the key is already starting to stand out even more. So I would do this all over. Because the door, yes, it's important because that's what the key is to. But our focus is the key. So I would darken. Just going over it. So I darken the stone. Let's see here. And I think the door does need... Like, how do we have our light? We have our light coming from this direction. What we could do is actually a bit of a vignette. So that...
Oh, Beryl says her army is now finished.
Her army is now finished.
We're ready to conquer.
Yay. Alright.
Yeah, I think that what you're saying there is absolutely right. If you want that key to stand out, and the wings to stand out, I think your only course forward is to darken.
Yep.
To darken things, and that'll bring it out.
Especially since you've got this dark inside the key where the door is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the door needs to be the same value as what you've already got inside. Let's see here.
See, that is so much work.
It is.
Like that. That's crazy. That's insane amount of detail. When it, like stippling, not a fan.
I like stippling, but it makes me go to sleep.
Yeah.
I literally, let's see here, my angle's off on the camera. Let's see if I can do
So
this better.
when I think of like complex concepts, like the theory of the universe and like string theory and complex
that just
physics,
hurts my brain.
When I think of those things and I really think about them, it makes my feet hurt. And so that's how I know when something is like really complex, because it makes my feet hurt. And when I think about stippling and like when I look at this piece, my feet hurt. It's too much for me. Now, I think it's beautiful. I just couldn't do that. My feet would hurt the whole time.
And 3 hooks are going to be down at the bottom because this is going to be a key holder.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a key holder.
Very appropriate.
Isn't that?
I adore the idea. Huh.
Now you could have a bit of lighter up here at the top of the stone, since our light's coming this way. So you could go and have it darker.
See, now, how I would have handled making the key stand out is I would have painted the door, and then I would have gotten a skeleton key and taped some rooster feathers onto it, and then glued it.
You would not.
Then it's like, oh look, it's so 3D.
You would not. I've never seen you do that. It's a good thought, though. Maybe you should do it.
Right. It's first time stippling. Are you okay?
I like stippling. I've done a whole big, 12 by 16.
It damages me when I stipple. I'm just saying.
My eyes start banging. So I have to be careful. But I like the look of it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Even darken up along the edges a little bit. Here. I have no idea why she's barking.
I was standing on the couch barking again.
Luckily, only we hear. Alright.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Chad can hear her.
Well, I'm saying nobody outside.
Oh.
There we go.
So, the key is already standing out more.
Yeah. I do think a little bit. Just a little bit. Shading on the feathers, just a little bit, not a whole lot. Because we have the light coming this way, we would have a bit of shadow.
This could be like the opener. This could be on the door of the medicine cabinet, and then where you keep your cough medicine, and then it could be the chamber of secrets.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, our lips is a little off on this.
She humors me just enough.
No, that was a good one. I like that one. Let's see here. So I would try to fix your lips right there. That's just a little off. That happens if we go even darker. See, I should have grabbed a black colored pencil because that would.
You know, what's funny is that there's doors in Germany that look exactly like this.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, even a little bit darker really makes that key stand out.
Yeah. But I'm just asking, and this is from could she just go over this lightly with a burner, like not having to stipple?
No, don't stipple. Take the 18M and just do some more shading.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't stipple anymore.
Yeah, because that has it looks like sandstone.
It does.
Or granite.
Which I think is what she was kind of going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would just burn like I am here, but in a straight line, or just to darken. You can still keep that pattern, that stippling, because it's really cool.
We're so talented.
I know, aren't they?
I know.
We are so lucky to get to see all this awesome art. Really did a fantastic job. Alright. I changed colors so we can tell more. But yeah, I think the mortar, because she asked about the mortar, I do think it needs to be a little darker. Not as dark as the rest of the stone, but I do think it needs to be darker. Alright. Let's see here. Trying to do this quickly. And of course, and it's going over your black bars, iron bars on the door. Don't worry about that. I think, other than maybe straighten your line a little bit, I think the color you have it is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to change. I would just try to maybe straighten up the lines a little bit more. I'm just doing this quickly. That's why I'm going over it.
And I really like the Burrow really nailed the metallic nature of the key.
She did.
So it's really well done.
I'm guessing it's a little bit. There.
Yep.
What do you think, Burrow? I think it's always easier for me to say do this and do that. I know it's a lot of work, but I think it'll get you closer to what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kenny. Sorry your son's sick.
Wait. No, son is sick of looking after the puppy.
Oh, sick of looking after the puppy. Oh, well, on him. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye,
and sharing
Jeni.
your heart with us. I'm sure he hears that so
Probably.
often.
Probably does.
Probably does. Thanks, Jeni. Alrighty, now our last one is Gregg. If Burrow does not have any more questions,
I'll give it a sec.
yeah, I gotta let the delay happen.
It's been around about a 30-second delay.
About 30 seconds? Wow.
It's always around 30 seconds.
Yeah. Let's see. I just want to check something.
Beryl says looks a lot better.
I need to sharpen this pencil.
Do you have a sharpener over here?
Well, it's just because I was trying to use the... Yeah, I would definitely straighten the lines. That'll give you... Let's see here. Trying to make sure I'm on.
And Gregg says, yeah, you got to be last.
Well, I did it the way that they posted them. Because Beryl... Let's see here. Beryl and Gregg were arguing, or who? Well, not arguing. I was teasing them. Because Gregg's like, I'll go last, and Beryl's like, I'll go last.
And Beryl says, okay, Gregg, you win.
Yeah, I hate that. There we go. I just did it based on when it was posted in the chat, or in the, posted, period. All right, yeah, straighter lines, I think, will definitely make it feel more the way you want it.
Okay.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Burrow. And our last one is Gregg. We've got deer art. Let's tape him to the board and we'll get this done. Gregg wants to know about doing a watercolor blue sky in the background. Let's see what else. I think about the grass. He took the reference of the grass. He went out across the street to a field, which is a very good idea, and took pictures for inspiration for this part of the photo, because in the actual photo it's just a deer.
Oh, I see.
Like this. And I pulled out the background so I could have him right there. So he used this grass photo that he took and put the deer on top of that.
Somebody just subscribed to us, I think, but I can't see it because it's not.
I don't think they...
No.
No.
It popped up.
Jeni. Thank you so much, Jeni. I just saw on my phone. She did a $5 coffee donation. I believe it's coffee or it's stream.
How come we aren't seeing the overlays?
Did it not pop up?
It popped up, but the window is over everything else.
Oh, I know why.
Because Bernadette was trying to visit a minute ago. She could not visit.
She could not visit. Well, as soon as I do what I did, she cannot visit. Try it now. Oh, that's so... Thank you so much, Jeni.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so we were looking at Gregg. And so he wants to know about watercolor sky, if the fawn stands out, and what I think so far. I think you've done a beautiful job so far, Gregg. It is so cool looking. I will say you're doing something that I did. Oh, and this is on watercolor paper. I'm not sure what kind or what. Looks like it is possibly hot pressed. Maybe.
Beryl says 2 of the soldiers have already fallen.
Oh, her grandson must have taken him out. On your deer, I think you've done such a wonderful job. Wonderful job. I think your deer could be a little darker. My deer, I did a deer. It's hanging. I can't pull it down right now. It's in the hall. It doesn't matter. I went light with my deer too, and now that it has grass and details that I negative burned around for the grass. I think the way I did it, it's 140 pound hot press. Okay. The way I did it, my deer is too light, and I'm gonna, if I ever decide to go back and redo it, I would definitely do my deer darker. I think we get nervous about getting dark. So I think a little more, not a whole lot, just, let's see here, just a little darker. Will help the pattern stand out a little bit more. And since he's going to be in the grass, we'd have some grass coming up around his legs, or her legs. So we would want to include that to put the deer more into, like you pulled it over the deer, which is really good. But we need to make sure, because right now, on this side, it kind of looks like the deer is, like one photo has been laid over another. So I would probably...
Gregg says it's a 140 pound hot press.
Yeah.
Did he...
I already saw.
Did you? Oh, okay.
It's okay. You're probably reading.
I was.
So grass that overlays another would be darker underneath. Let's see here. We've got to get the deer more incorporated with the grass. So, and it's harder to do that on paper, I think. To go back and try to alter. Sometimes watercolor paper is good because you don't have to sand it, you don't have to prep it, it's just ready to go. But it also has other, so white does have some shading underneath. I really love how you change the background. I'm really happy to see you do that. Okay, so looking at the black and white, we don't have such a prominent stop with the nose. I know it looks black right here, but if you look at the black and white, it's not as detailed. You see, we need to remember the shape of the skull. I'm gonna have that in there.
So Gregg says so blend it in a bit. I think he was responding to what you were saying a minute ago.
Yeah. Blend it in a bit. Let's see here. So we've got a light spot here. You could decide. I can't talk. You could choose to change the marking a little bit and kind of blend it up into the forehead. I think that would work a little better. Let's see here. I was thinking about what you asked about adding watercolor to the sky. I meant to grab a blue colored pencil. I can't put watercolor on this paper. I think...
Go ahead.
If you wanted to add watercolor, I don't think it necessarily needs it, first of all. But if you really wanted to add the watercolor, I'm sorry. I'm going to grab a blue because it's just easier for me to visualize.
Okay. I'll pick up the pencil.
Please. Let's pull this drawer out.
And now while Val's away, my 2 cents.
Yes, please.
I don't think that it needs the blue, personally.
Well,
because
it looks awesome the way it is.
I think it does too. I think that if you add blue to it, it's going to add a band of color at the top, and then there won't be any counterweight at the bottom.
And that's what I was thinking.
And I think that could be a problem. It would be a cool effect, but I think that the sky being plain and white, I think that looks just like an overcast day.
Yeah.
I think that makes it really strong as it is, and it makes it harmonious.
But I think if you add color here, you would need to add color somewhere.
You would have to.
Down in here in order.
Absolutely have to.
So I grabbed a light blue, because that's like how light I'm talking. And it would just be...
Sorry.
Don't. Very light. I would not do the whole thing either.
No.
But if you're wanting color, you could definitely do color. Watercolor would be more washed out than this.
And I think the problem with it is that, I think what a lot of people don't realize or it doesn't register is that when you do have like a blue sky like that, the landscape and the subjects in it are going to absorb and reflect it to different degrees, and so you're going to have blue in the whole composition in varying degrees, and so that means working over the whole piece in blue.
Let's see here. But if it goes really mute,
I think you'd still have to add a blue tint to the highlights in the deer.
Which if he's painting, he would go
to make
probably
it
a little bit into the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, like I said, you would still need color down in around the deer, so you could use kind of an orangey. No.
I think that
sometimes you just want to add color, and I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out how the best.
Well, I think that if you added the blue, that you could, from a color standpoint, because the gold is a direct contrast to it.
Good blue.
And so you could have the gold of the field and the browns of the deer, and then that would make a contrast between the sky and the ground and the foreground, and that could be really interesting. But you know what I would do? This is what I would do. And everybody's saying, "I've cat." Nobody asked you.
No, I did.
I would do what I did when you did the manatee. Is when you get it to the point where you're thinking about coloring it, I'd run off a couple of copies, and then work on those copies and experiment with color, and see how you feel about that. Because without adding to your original artwork, if you can work on the color, on the copies,
kind of like what I'm doing here.
Yeah, then you could do it consequence free, and you might end up with a couple of compositions that were cool, even frameable, and but you wouldn't be doing anything that you'd have to fix on your original.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, I think that the original, I think it's beautiful in its own right. And if you did add color, maybe just on the copies and frame those. But I don't know what his intent is for this either. I don't know.
I don't either.
So
we'll have to wait and see what he says.
Yeah. That's what I tend to do when I do these kind of things, is I work off the copies and experiment on those and see how things look, so that I don't have to rework things on my original art. Because again, I'm very lazy.
Let's see here. I think we do need some darks up in the ear.
Okay, Greg says, I was not taking in the other factors in consideration. No. So no color.
Oh, okay.
All right, well,
I think it could be really pretty with color too. So it's totally.
I think it's I think it's beautiful as it is, though, Greg. I think that it's really nice.
I think if you want to add color to a piece, to maybe plan for it more instead of an afterthought of adding color. That way you can play and adjust what you've got. Instead of doing it as an afterthought and then not being happy with it.
Yeah. He says it's just for him and the wife, for the house. Maybe sell later.
You've done a beautiful job.
Well, you
looks better on camera. You
could run off a couple of high-quality copies on high-quality paper and experiment with color and have those too.
Make a print that's got watercolor added to it. Yep. You could do that. And you can get those printed. You should have depending on where you live.
There's
print companies. You can also do it online. We try to do local to support our local companies.
Yep.
All right. So I think some of this grass needs to have a little less detail. The detail is going to be there because it's dark, but I think, actually, no, would it be the other way around? Where there'd be less detail back here.
I would say to increase the shading and contrast to the deer and not mess with anymore with the detail of the grass, for sure.
Well, no, I was trying to blend this part out back in the back where it wasn't so bright, because in doing that the deer stands out more.
Oh yeah,
but it looks incorporated.
Yes, Greg Staples does that.
Yeah.
Greg is asking, how do you seal the watercolor paper?
You don't frame it, matte and frame.
Okay.
You don't seal it.
No
reason to.
Put some glass on it.
Yeah, matte and frame it.
However, if it's original artwork, you want to make sure that it would be best with a matte to keep the glass from coming in contact.
Yes,
so
I always matte.
Does not adhere to your original art.
Let's see here.
I'm sure that anybody who's had photos
I have.
That have glued themselves to the glass, you just don't want that to happen with your beautiful artwork.
No.
You know what's crazy is that, like, when you're reframing stuff, like,
because I have the picture on the class.
Well, when I worked in the gallery, and occasionally we'd have to reframe something that had been framed for a long time. You take it out and it looked just fine, but then, like, where the glass was and where the paper, where the image, where the white paper was in the image, you could see the discoloration in the paper, because it would be yellowed. But until you took it out of the glass and out of the frame, you would not know that it yellowed at all. Yeah. But it was like a harsh contrast.
See, we've got this line right here. I'm trying to blend out. You've got beautiful detail right here in this grass. And I think it needs to stay. I think maybe thin it out. Layer it just a little bit more here and there. I know you've already done so much work on it. And here I'm saying no more. But I think that helps focus it and put layers to the grass so that we got more detail here. And as we go back, I know pencil is not exactly the best way to explain that.
And for a very special 3D effect, you could put a rectangular planter underneath your painting and grow grass in it. And that way there'd be grass coming up in front of the painting.
Oh, that'd be cool, kind of, actually. Let's see here.
If you don't have a planter, you could be crafty and just staple it to the frame. That'll look okay, right? That's why I'm here.
You've had too much coffee. Let's see here.
Beryl wants to know, so if you frame a wood piece, do you put glass over that?
I do. I seal mine, and then I mat it, and I frame it, and it does have the glass over it. Now, the person who buys it, they can choose not to have the glass over it, because my piece is sealed. I do that to keep the mat clean, mainly. And it's just a little bit more protection on the burning. And I think that's why, when I've said in the past, people have told me that their burnings have faded. I haven't had that issue, and that's because I seal it. My wood pieces are sealed, matted, and then framed. So they're like triple protected, I guess.
So there's another factor to that too, like, but it's just it's a consideration, is that whenever you do a wood piece or a paper piece, you know, there's always that texture on there. And if you have it in a public place and it's at eye level or lower,
yeah,
people will be drawn to touch it.
Yes.
And that can be cool, but after, like, if it's in a high traffic area, you end up with people's oil.
And I've had people touching mine.
Yeah.
Again, because it's sealed, I don't have to worry about it. But I actually had at one competition at the fair. They pulled because I had it out of the glass, or the glass behind it. They actually put the glass in front of the burning because people kept touching it.
Yeah.
Alright,
so Greg says, so looks like the deer won't pop as much blending it.
Won't pop.
I think that what he was talking about is I think that when we started this, the deer was like popping too much.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, Greg.
Because it looked a little
tell
bit.
Me if I'm not.
It looked a little bit more like you had a cutout sitting on a photo.
Yeah.
Because the two weren't incorporated. So I think it just needs to be a little bit more incorporated. I do think you can keep. And see, it's darker here from the photo itself, not from the burning. You can keep this lighter detail that points to him. But I think over here, that maybe it needs to be a little blended more. That way, then does it change the weight of it?
And if you're worried about like incorporating your subject into the background, there's like a really lazy fix that works really well. I'm good.
Another one?
I'm good with the lazy
I
tips.
guess so.
Is that you can always have some vegetation that kind of comes up in front of the deer. Not stapled in front, okay, but actually, like...
But remember, this is on paper.
I know. Like, you can't do it now, I don't think. But, like, in the future, having some of those strands of grass kind of come over, which it kind of is,
yeah,
I think.
But right here, he can darken it a little bit more.
Yeah. And
it blends the deer into...
Yeah.
Though this looks like it needs to go darker. So that I don't think his deer should be too dark right here.
Yeah.
So that would be darker down here. And you could keep some of these strands, but I would curve them. I know your photo is all going this way, but I think I would curve some of these to make it feel like they're going back towards the deer.
Yeah. And that's good because you have...
Because then you'd have the wave.
Yeah.
Because you've got that right there, actually. Incorporate that more.
And I think that it's important, too, because then you have all those lines that are curving back towards the deer. and that's leading people's eyes back into the subject and not out of the picture. So, and that's something that's really important in these.
So you can have a little bit more detail here so that it doesn't feel so bland. Okay, yeah. And then, so it's just a matter of shading. So that just...
You know what's really nice about this? And this is from a design standpoint, because you've got the deer and it has the ears, and so it's forming that Y,
Right here? Okay.
Yes, the Y. But you have all the trees in the background that are also echoing that design, and they're creating a visual force that's pushing you down into the deer, and then you have the grass on the left hand of the composition that's pushing you towards the deer, and then on the right side, like what you're doing right now, is you're moving it back, so you're keeping the person in the subject of the deer. You're moving there, and that's what you try and do in composition, is try and lead the person back in so that they're consistently going back and looking at your subject over and over again, and they don't even know why. It's just...
Yeah. So I go this way, because the eye follows the pattern, hit this grass, comes back around.
Yep.
Yeah, it can be darker on this side because based on how you've got your grass, the light source is coming this way, so the deer would shade, or would have shadow casting on the grass.
Yeah.
Right, this could be a little darker. Wait a minute, so that... Oh, well, that's fine. I think push a little bit more of the grass. The grass back. There we go. So it looks like the deer is coming out of the grass. This looks a little too uniform. So what I could do... You could try to copy the pattern you got here a little bit. See, right here you had some swirls because the grass is, let's see here. I think you did like this part of the grass right here, and that kind of takes you away. So I'm trying to blend it out a little bit, but use it so that this side of the grass on lines that you've already created is taking you back to the deer.
Yeah, and you don't have to like draw the lines.
No, I just...
But like if there's an implied curve there in the shadows and the forms of the grass and the clumps, then that curves back in.
I'm just trying to accent that a little bit more. But negative burning, I think you could reshape some of these lines that you've already laid down. Like, so you've got this line right here, just curve it a little bit. And with watercolor paper, you can take a knife, just like you would on a wood burning, and scrape highlights in. So that will help you reshape your grass. This is printer paper, so it's not going to... But watercolor paper, especially the 140 pound and 300 pound, you can scrape. So, let's see here. He doesn't have a bright highlight. But let's see if we put one in. No, don't do that. That's why you do it on printout. Then you know. And you know. So let's see here. The light's coming this way to the back end. But because this is into the grass, it would be darker. And that'll help pop the neck out. Let's see here. No. Bad choice. Oh, I'm going to do this one.
Beryl says, getting back to framing, what color frame and mat would you use?
I have a couple of different mats because I cut my own. I have 2 shades of brown that are actually basically those two colors. I have cream. I think, do I have white? I can't remember if I have white. I saw this color, and this is for, well, shoot. Can you pull the Raven? The Manatee. Okay. The Raven I cut, the Manatee I didn't. But I can show you how I frame. And so I'm going to pull back the camera so I can put it in front.
All right.
There we go. Alright. So this is... Hopefully I answered all of Gregg's questions. How I matted and framed the Manatee. I do try to use brown frames to help accent the burning. This was a mat that came with the frame. I like the color, so I left it. And then I cut the mat for the Ravens, but I try to get a color that is going to go along with the burning, and so that it flows. Let's see here. Those are white.
Oh, they're all the rest of them are white.
Yeah. Well, I was looking because I don't always use this color frame. Oh, my big frames, the big ones I do, they're in a more of a redwood, cherry-ish color frame. I don't have any in here to... Oh, look, I can see your Santa hat right there. I gotta hide because I have no makeup. But I saw your Santa hat right there. You're right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's how I tend to frame mine. These. Oh, can you go ahead and pull the cats, because that's a wood one.
Pull the cats.
Yeah, pull it there, up there, or the otter, because that's wood. That's all. That way, because all the ones we just showed are paper.
I'm gonna pull the otter because
that's fine. It's smaller. Okay. And so this is a wood one. This is my otter. It's just a frame I bought. I get them on sale when they're like really big sales at Michael's. And this was a mat that came with it that I used. Actually, it's more of a cream color, but it's showing white on the camera.
That's just the camera.
Yeah, because... Whew.
Do you need me to...
There we go.
Do you need to put it back up before the end?
I think we're done. I'm just gonna see if
from a framing standpoint, if you do double mats, like we don't do this, but if you have the ability to do two colors, then
I do. I just don't have them on these.
Yeah, like if you want to create focal points, then whatever your intermat color is going to be is usually going to create a focal point. People are going to be drawn to that color inside of the.
I tend to use white
work.
and then a dark brown on the outside.
Yep.
For my focal, I had one of my bears framed in a black frame, and a judge hit me for it.
We didn't.
On my score.
It's a rough competition.
Ugh. Yeah.
Hit you with it.
They hit me with it. They hit me. So I don't use black at all now, if I can help it. Yeah, none of my frames are black. And like I said, I go to Michael's when they have these giant, buy one, get one free. Plus they're also like 70% off frames. And I go and try to grab as many frames as I can. I had another frame. Where is it?
Speaking from a framing standpoint, because I used to work in a gallery that did framing. Like whenever you can frame yourself, like if you can get heavily discounted frames, or if you can do your own framing, always do that.
Yeah.
Because the professional framing business is extremely ridiculously overpriced.
This is the other color frame.
There's so much markup
that I like to use. This one's not used yet. Yeah. This is the other color I like to use with the burning.
Yeah.
This is my fancy frame. This one cost more, so I only got a couple of those.
You really did a good job on those flowers.
I know. I'm like awesome, aren't I?
Yeah. I wouldn't have put the lettering on the bottom right, though.
I know.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. All right.
So,
wow, we got 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
Did not expect that. Okay.
So Greg says, yes, I can do it. I've been scraping. And Greg says, and more. It gave me more to do, but grateful for sure.
I'm sorry. I don't try to give you more to do. I think sometimes we get tired of working on a piece, and so we start rushing.
It's okay. She does it to me all the time.
I do.
Yeah.
I do it to myself, so it's not like you guys are the only ones that get it, and I don't. I do the same thing. I think you have a beautiful piece. I love how you added the grass and changed your photos so that it fit, and your trees. You just did a wonderful job.
It's very beautiful, and from a design standpoint and from a compositional standpoint, it's a really strong composition too.
I keep seeing how I'm off. This doesn't look right. There we go. Do that.
You had to do that.
I had to do that.
Compulsive much?
No, not too much. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Grass can be quite a pain. I like how you did that. So it just needs a little bit more. And you could do a print on watercolor paper of your piece once you're done, and do a couple prints and add the watercolor to it. Make sure when they do the print that it is archival ink that's waterproof. That way, when you go to paint on it, it won't smear, and you can have fun that way.
Yeah, and if you really want to mess with your wife, you can do a print of it and then like do the deer and Peter Criss makeup from Kiss and be like, I went a different direction with it. I really like this. What do you think, honey?
You'll never know. Hi, Sharon. Thank you. All right. I think we are going to finish this up. We will be live again on Tuesday, regular time, 11 a.m. Arizona. Welcome. I can't read the name. It's too small for me.
What name?
The new person.
Jen Ashley just subscribed.
Welcome, Jen. Yeah, in fact, if you're watching and you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's right down there. And hit the notification bell. We go live every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Arizona time, which is now 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific. Yes.
Are you going to say
I would blame Val. Why are you blaming me?
I would too. As a general rule.
Yeah. Don't forget, you are awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys. Bye.
Bye.